class, welcome to the end of week 4, beginning of week 5. This weekend you should be finishing up your assignments 4.4 through 4.8. On Monday evening, be sure to go back and review my feedback on those assignments before moving on to work on week 5. That feedback will help direct your writing on week 5 and let you know if you're on the right track with your paper ideas. Now looking into week 5, pay specific attention to the readings and They Say I Say. They will help you a lot as you write your drafts of your argument research paper this week. The first section is on transitions, which I notice many of you have been having problems with. In this reading, they will give you some templates for transitioning within your paragraphs and between paragraphs. Please use these in your next paper, since transitions often make the difference between a good paper and a great paper. The next section in They Say I Say is about academic voice and using your voice. I noticed that a few of you have had problems using language that's a little too casual in your papers. This section will help you to keep your voice while also writing in that all-important academic voice that your school papers require. Finally, the last section of your reading in They Say I Say is over the art of meta-commentary. I've marked some of your papers as having incorrect meta-commentary in them. This section will help you learn to use meta-commentary correctly, which will help a lot as you write your academic papers. Then you have some other readings here that will also be helpful to you as you work on your papers this week. Be sure to give yourself enough time to read through all of them so you can set yourself up for success on your argument paper. Looking at your other assignments, for 5.2 you need to post your research questions and thesis. I notice that some of you don't yet have a focus for your papers beyond the topic, and this assignment will help you there. For example, my topic might be violent video games, and I may decide to narrow my topic and make my research question, do violent video games cause children to be more violent? Then as I research, I will look for an answer to that question. Maybe I find out that they do cause children to be violent and act out, so my thesis may be, though many parents let their children play violent video games some way over the recommended age limit for their children, these parents should take greater care since research strongly suggests that violent video games do make children more violent. That would be my stance that I am arguing from, and everything in my paper will point back to that stance. For example, instead of just dumping research into my paper, I'll weave the research together using my own words to show and build a case for how violent video games do in fact lead children to be more violent. Since this is an argument paper, I'll also be sure to raise and counter objections of my opposition. I want to use their 2 or 3 strongest objections and be sure to state them and then counter them with my own ideas and research. You can do that in the beginning of your paper, woven within your paper, or toward the end. Just be sure to take the objections seriously and counter them well with your own strong arguments supported by research. I cannot overemphasize the importance of raising and countering objections. Without them you have a really good informative paper, which is not what this assignment asks for. To make a true argument paper, you need to present your arguments well, while also raising and countering objections of your opposition. Then also due on Tuesday, you have your sources form to work on, and another form dissecting an argument. As you dissect it, pay careful attention to who wrote the argument. Most of my students get this part wrong. After you identify the author, be careful not to get caught up in the argument because it is very controversial. Instead, dissect it using the rhetorical analysis strategies you learned from your last paper. Then later in the week, you have your evaluative annotated bibliography due. Before you begin, be sure to refresh your memory by reading the instructions and rubric linked on 5.5. Also remember this is to be evaluative, so you need to include a short 1 to 2 sentence evaluation with each annotation. Then finally you have your drafts for your argument research paper in your journal due on Sunday. Next week in week 6, we will have mandatory conferences over your drafts on Monday and Tuesday. If you want your draft back quickly, sign up for a conference on Monday. If none of those times work, let me know and we can work something out. In the conferences, we will be going over your whole draft page by page. We will read it out loud so you can better catch your errors and see what you need to work on for the final draft. These conferences are mandatory, and if you do not sign up for a conference, you won't be able to receive feedback on your draft. We will meet in Google Hangouts just like last time, so have your webcam and mic ready to go. If you have any questions as you work this week, please feel free to shoot me an email. I really enjoy the research process, and I'm here to help you as you work on your papers. Your argument paper topics that I read over today sound really good, and I'm looking forward to see what you come up with as you research your ideas. Have a great week.